Don't drink the tap water. Don't eat the street food. You'll be sick for weeks. That's what everyone told me before I flew to Malaysia. My family was worried. Travel forums were filled with horror stories. Even my doctor gave me a concerned look and handed me a prescription for antibiotics, just in case. But here's what nobody told me, and what I discovered after eating my way through 47 different Malaysian dishes in 10 days. Stay till the end because what happened on day 7 completely changed everything I thought I knew about food. Look, I get it. When you think about traveling to Southeast Asia, your brain immediately goes to those stories. You know the ones: someone's cousin's friend who ate pad thai from a street cart and spent 3 days in a hotel bathroom. But here's the thing that kept nagging at me: Malaysia has 33 million people. They're not all sick. They're eating this food every single day. So either Malaysians have superhuman stomachs, or we've been lied to about something really important. So I made a decision. I was going to eat everything. Street food, night markets, local warungs where I was the only non-Malaysian in sight. No tourist restaurants. No playing it safe. And what I discovered? It's not just going to blow your mind, it's going to make you question everything you've been told about food safety. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Malaysian street food might actually be safer than your local takeout back home. Let me take you back to day 1. I landed in Kuala Lumpur at midnight, and by 6 a.m., I was standing in front of a nasi lemak cart. Now, for those who don't know, nasi lemak is coconut rice with spicy sambal, fried anchovies, peanuts, a boiled egg, and cucumber. It's eaten for breakfast. The lady running the cart had been there since 4 a.m. No gloves. Using her hands to plate everything. The sambal was sitting out in the tropical heat. Every food safety rule I'd ever learned was being violated right in front of me. My Western brain was screaming, "Danger! Turn back! Find a McDonald's!" But then I noticed something strange. There was a line. Not tourists, locals. Men in business suits on their way to work. Mothers with kids in school uniforms. A police officer. They were all eating from this cart like it was the most normal thing in the world. So I asked myself, what do they know that I don't? Here's the first thing I learned, and this is crucial: high turnover equals freshness. That nasi lemak lady? She makes about 200 servings every morning. That sambal sitting out? It was made 2 hours ago and will be completely gone in the next hour. Compare that to your local deli back home where that potato salad has been sitting in the refrigerator since Tuesday? Last Tuesday? 3 Tuesdays ago? Nobody knows. But there's something even more important happening here, and this is where it gets really interesting. Stay with me because this changes everything. The spice level. You know how Malaysian food is known for being spicy? That's not just for flavor. Capsaicin, the compound that makes chilies hot, is literally antimicrobial. It kills bacteria. The sambal, the curries, the chili pastes that go into everything? They're not just delicious. They're preservation systems that evolved over thousands of years in a tropical climate. Mind blown. By day 3, I was deep into Penang's street food scene. And this is where things got really wild. I found this char koe tiao stall, that's flat rice noodles stir-fried over insanely high heat with prawns, bean sprouts, and cockles. Yes, cockles. Raw shellfish. In tropical heat. Everything your mother warned you about. The chef, and I call him a chef because what he was doing was art, had been cooking at this same street corner for 32 years. Same spot. Same recipe. Same wok that probably hadn't been properly washed since 1992. And here's the thing that nobody talks about. That wok was heated to approximately 750 degrees Fahrenheit. I know because I researched it later. At that temperature, you're not just cooking food, you're sterilizing it. Every harmful bacteria? Dead. In seconds. But wait, there's more. And this is the part that made me question everything. I started noticing patterns. Every street food vendor I encountered followed the same unwritten rules. 1. They specialized in one dish. The char koe tiao guy makes char koe tiao. That's it. He's made it 50,000 times. He knows exactly when the prawns are perfectly cooked. When they're not fresh enough. When something's off. 2. They source their ingredients multiple times per day. The vegetable vendor comes by at 6 a.m. The seafood guy at 10 a.m. Everything is used within hours of arriving. 3. They cook to order. Nothing is sitting under a heat lamp. Everything is made when you order it, at temperatures that would make most bacteria give up and die. Compare this to Western fast food. Made in bulk. Held at lukewarm temperatures. Touched by multiple people. Sitting for hours. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is something I never expected to discover. On day 5, I encountered something that would completely change my understanding of food safety: fermentation. I was in a kopitiam, a traditional coffee shop, and ordered something called rajak. It came with this black, pungent sauce that smelled like something had died. The vendor laughed at my face and said, "Belacan, fermented shrimp paste." Every Western food safety instinct said run. But everyone around me was drowning their food in this stuff. So I did what any rational person would do. I researched it while eating it. Yes, I ate it. We're committed to this experiment. Turns out, fermentation is one of humanity's oldest food preservation techniques. And Malaysia has perfected it. Belacan, tempeh, budu, singkolak, all fermented. And here's the science that blew my mind. Fermentation creates an acidic environment where harmful bacteria literally cannot survive. The good bacteria outcompete the bad bacteria. It's nature's food safety system, and it's been working for thousands of years before we invented refrigerators. But there's something even deeper happening here. The Malaysian diet is loaded with these fermented foods, and they're not just safe, they're actively good for you. Probiotics. Enzymes. Nutrients that are more bioavailable than in raw ingredients. I started connecting dots. Countries with high fermented food consumption? Lower rates of food poisoning. Why? Because your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your digestive system, is stronger. More diverse. Better at fighting off the occasional bad bacteria. And this leads me to something controversial I discovered, something that might make you angry, but hear me out. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Our obsession with sterilization might actually be making us weaker. By day 7, I was eating everything without hesitation. Raw vegetables from market stalls. Ice in my drinks. Fruit cut with the same knife used for everything else. And you know what? I felt amazing. Better than I had in months. Meanwhile, I met 3 Australian tourists who'd been eating exclusively at hotel restaurants and international chains. All 3 had upset stomachs. How? This is the paradox. We've created food systems that are technically safe, but practically problematic. We chlorinate chicken to kill bacteria, but that allows for sloppier handling practices. We irradiate vegetables, but that doesn't fix contamination that happens during processing. We refrigerate everything, but that just slows bacteria down, it doesn't eliminate it. Malaysian street food operates on a completely different principle: Freshness and heat kill bacteria. Natural antimicrobials like spices and fermentation prevent growth. High turnover means nothing sits long enough to become dangerous. And here's the data point that made me realize I'd been wrong about everything. According to WHO statistics, food poisoning rates in Malaysia are lower than in many Western countries. Not despite street food culture, because of it. But wait until you hear what happened on day 8. This is the part that ties everything together, and it's going to change how you think about food forever. Day 8. I'm in Ipoh, eating curry mee for breakfast. That's curry noodles with blood cockles, tofu puffs, and enough chili to make your ancestors sweat. And I had this moment of clarity. I haven't just been eating food. I've been training my immune system. See, here's what happens when you eat truly fresh, naturally preserved food with diverse bacteria. Your gut microbiome diversifies. You're exposed to bacteria that aren't harmful, they're just different. And your immune system learns, adapts, and gets stronger. We've been so focused on eliminating all bacteria that we forgot. Most bacteria are harmless or even beneficial. Our bodies evolved alongside them. We need them. I talked to a Malaysian doctor who explained it perfectly. When you eat our food, you're eating the same bacteria Malaysians have been eating for generations. Your body might react at first, but not because the food is dangerous, because your body isn't used to it. It's like going to the gym for the first time. Your muscles are sore, but you're getting stronger. And here's the proof. By day 9, I was eating things that would have terrified me on day 1. Laksa from a boat vendor. Char siu from a stall with no walls. Chendol with ice that was definitely not filtered. Zero problems. In fact, I felt more energetic than I had in years. My digestion was better. My skin was clearer. I wasn't bloated after meals. But the real revelation came on day 10, and this is something I need you to understand because it affects how you eat even if you never travel to Malaysia. Final day in Malaysia. I'm sitting at a mamak stall at 2 a.m. eating roti canai, flaky flatbread with curry, and I'm having an existential crisis about food. Because I've realized something, the Western food system isn't designed for food safety. It's designed for profit and scale. Think about it. We've created a system where food travels thousands of miles, sits in warehouses, gets handled by dozens of people, and spends days or weeks getting from farm to plate. So we need refrigeration, preservatives, and sterilization just to keep it from killing us. But Malaysian street food? It's a local system. Farm to cart in hours. Prepared fresh. Consumed immediately. No need for preservatives because there's no time for bacteria to grow. No need for refrigeration because nothing sits overnight. And the craziest part? It's not just safer, it's better. More nutritious. More flavorful. More sustainable. And significantly cheaper. That char koe tiao that cost me $1.50? More nutritious than a $15, healthy, bowl back home because it was made from ingredients that were alive that morning. The vegetables hadn't lost their vitamins to refrigeration. The prawns hadn't been frozen for 3 months. But here's the thing that really gets me. We've been conditioned to fear this system. To believe that food only safe if it's been industrially processed, packaged in plastic, and sold in an air-conditioned store. Meanwhile, billions of people around the world are eating fresh, local, street-prepared food every day and thriving. So what does this mean for you? I ate 47 different Malaysian dishes in 10 days. Street food. Night markets. Local establishments where I couldn't read the menu. The result? Not 1 minute of sickness. Not 1 moment of regret. But more importantly, I learned something that changed my entire relationship with food. Real food safety isn't about sterilization. It's about freshness, proper cooking, natural preservation, and food systems that actually make sense. When I got back home, I started changing how I eat. I buy from farmers markets where food is harvested that morning. I support restaurants that cook to order instead of preparing in bulk. I incorporated more fermented foods into my diet. I stopped being afraid of spices and started understanding them as the preservation systems they are. And you know what? My health improved. My gut feels better. I have more energy. The truth is, Malaysian food didn't make me sick because Malaysian food isn't sick. It's one of the healthiest, safest, most sustainable food systems on the planet. We've just been taught to fear it because it doesn't fit into our industrialized model of food safety. So here's my challenge to you. Question what you've been told about food. Seek out fresh, local options in your area. Try that ethnic restaurant where you're the only non-local. Support food systems built on freshness and flavor instead of processing and preservation. Because if my experiment proved anything, it's that the foods we've been taught to fear might actually be exactly what we need. The street food vendor with 30 years of experience making the same dish? They might know more about real food safety than any regulation manual. The mother cooking curry with her hands? She might understand bacteria better than most food scientists. And that, scary, fermented paste? It might be protecting you better than any refrigerator. Malaysia taught me that sometimes, the wisest thing to do is to eat everything instead of nothing. If this video changed how you think about food, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to see this. Drop a comment telling me, what's the scariest food you've tried that turned out to be amazing? And if you want to see more experiments like this where I challenge everything we think we know about travel and culture, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay curious, stay hungry, and remember, sometimes the best way to stay safe is to stop being so afraid.